Hello everyone. Now let's see the practice questions on valuation. Though you have already understood all the concepts of how to find out the value, now let's apply those concepts and find solutions. Okay. So here we have covered all the different types of questions that normally come in the exam, the valuation based questions, and you will definitely find one question on valuation of approximately out of 25 marks that you have got for customs, around 6 marks question you can say will be on valuation. Okay, so let's see. First, a few theory questions are given, so this you can of course read. It is just the copy paste of all the things that we have already studied. Come down to question number 5. Here starts the practical questions. A material was imported by air. Now, very first point to be noted, whenever you find that anything is imported by air, okay, one thing should click your mind, and that is the maximum freight that we can add will be restricted to 20% of FOB. Okay, so this point should immediately click your mind. So see what is given. A material was imported by air at CIF price of 5000 USD. So they have given CIF price. So if CIF is given, and we know that we have to take 20% as maximum, 20% of FOB. So we have to first find out the FOB. So what you have to do is make a reverse calculation first. From CIF, we will reduce the actual freight that is paid 1500 USD and insurance of 500 USD. So that is given. So we will reduce both of these from 5000 to get FOB. So FOB will be 3000 USD. 20% of 3000 is how much? 600. But the actual freight is 1500. So how much you will add? Only 600, restricted to 20% of FOB. So that is the question, and this question would be of approximately 3 marks. See how simple it is. Then it says the banker realized the payment from importer at an exchange rate of 61 per dollar. CBEC, now of course CBIC, has notified the exchange rate of 60 per USD. So which rate we will take? The bank rate or the CBIC rate? The CBIC rate, 60 per USD. Now CBEC, it was earlier called as Central Board of Excise and Customs. Now it is called as Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs. Okay, good. So find out the value of the material. Very simple. Take CIF, reduce the freight and insurance that is actually charged. So you will get the FOB. In this FOB, you add freight restricted to 20%. So 600 will add back. And insurance on actual basis. There is no restriction in insurance. So insurance you will add on actual if actual is known. If actual is not known, then you take 1.125% of FOB. So you get CIF after adding both multiplied by the exchange rate of the board. So this gives us the assessable value in rupees. So simple. Okay, so that is question number 5. Then moving on to question number 6. From the particulars given below, find out the assessable value of imported goods. Cost of machine at the factory of exporter, 10,000 USD. At the factory of exporter, wherever the exporter is situated. Transport charges from the factory of exporter to the port of shipment, means this is outside India, 500. So this we have to add. Though in one of the RTPs that was issued by the institute a few attempts back, a similar question was given and they had not added this transport charges. But I think that was wrong. That was absolutely wrong. RTP was not right in that question. You have to add the transport charges because this transport charges is of their country. Okay, the exporting country. Transport charges from factory of exporter to the port of shipment. Then handling charges paid for loading the machine in the ship. This is also in the exporting country, so this also will add the handling charges. Then buying commission paid by importer. Do you add buying commission? No, because buying commission is not to be added. Remember rule 10, buying commission is not to be added. Then freight charges from exporting country to India. Yes, we'll add this. Is it by air? Not given, na? So we'll add the whole thing. If it is given by air, then we'll have to see that 20%. Then exchange rate 1:60. Actual insurance charges paid are not ascertainable. If not ascertainable, then we take it as 1.125% of FOB. So very simple question. See what we'll do. Cost of the machine plus transport charges up to the port plus handling charges. This gives us the FOB. In FOB we add the freight charges up to India and insurance at the rate of 1.125% of FOB. So this gives us CIF. Then multiplied by 60, we get the assessable value. Very simple question. Then question number 7. Now question number 7 gives a new point, and that is that we have to take one exchange rate and secondly the rate of duty, right? So exchange rate and the rate of duty will be taken as on which date? As on which date? So as far as the rate of duty is concerned, we have seen section 15 that rate of duty will be taken as on the date of bill of entry. But if the bill of entry is an advance bill of entry, then we'll take entry inwards, means bill of entry or entry inwards, whichever is later for the rate of duty. But for exchange rate, dollar into rupees is done as per section 14, and it is always the bill of entry. It is always bill of entry. And for rate of duty, it is bill of entry or entry inwards, EI, entry inwards, whichever is later, right? You have seen these points? Very good. So now let's see the valuation. So this question is based upon, in a part of this question is based upon these facts. Compute export duty. Oh, this is export duty, so no problem. Export duty will be, this is for imports I have explained. Now for export, the bill of entry will become shipping bill. Bill of entry will become the shipping bill. Simple. And the rate of duty is taken in case of export. Let me write export also here. It will be taken as on the day of clearance order. Clearance section 16 applies here. Import section 15, export section 16. Clearance order by the officer for allowing it to be boarded on the ship. Okay, also called as a let ship order. So that is given there. FOB price of the goods is 1 lakh USD. Shipping bill presented electronically on 26/4, whatever year it may be, 26th of April. Proper officer passes the order permitting clearance and loading, that is let export order, on 4/5, 4th of May. So 4th of May. This is important for the rate of duty. Okay. So that is then given there. Rate of exchange and the rate of duty on 26/4, that is when we file the shipping bill, it is 55. So this will take exchange rate as on the date of shipping bill, and for the export duty we will take as on 4th of May, that is 8%. That is when the order of clearance is given. So very simple point. So see, you take FOB of 1 lakh multiplied by 55 and then apply the export duty rate of 8%. Another 3-mark question, and you will get full marks. Then question number 8. A consignment of 800 metric tons of edible oil of Malaysian origin was imported by charitable organization in India for free distribution to below poverty line citizens in a backward area under the scheme designed by the Food and Agricultural Organization. This being a special transaction, a nominal price of USD 10 per metric ton was charged for the consignment to cover the freight and insurance charges. Means the exporter is not really charging anything for the goods. He is only charging for transport charges. That's it. The custom house found out that at the same time, at or about the same time, importation of the gift consignment, there were following imports of edible oil of Malaysian origin. So what is the problem here? The problem is that the value is actually 0. What they are charging is only the freight charges. So we cannot accept this. So if transaction value is not available, then we have to find out the transaction value of identical goods, right? So these are the identical imports that are given below in the table. Okay. First is quantity is given and the unit price is given. So as per the rule of identical goods, what do? We find out in the same commercial level and approximately the same quantity, right? So the unit price will be taken then. So see how much we have imported? 800 metric tons. Our import is 800 metric tons. So let's see which is close. 20, is it close? No. 100, no. 500, no. 900, yes, maybe. 400, no. 780, yes, this is quite close. So in between these two, which is the closest one? 780. 900 is quite far off. Now there is a 100 difference, and 780 and 800 is only 20 tons difference. So this is the closest one. So this being the closest one, we will take the unit price of 160. So 160 becomes transaction value of identical goods that will apply in our case. Okay, and this is already CIF given, so no need to add any freight further. This is already CIF. Then exchange rate was 60, so we'll directly multiply it by 60. So valuation will be 800 into 160 into 60. Okay, and the basic custom duty will add 10%. Ignore integrated tax and compensation says. Very good. Calculate the amount of duty leviable on the consignment under the Customs Act with appropriate assumptions and explanations wherever required. So you will have to explain this first concept of identical goods. Then we'll say that 780 is the closest one, so the unit price of 160 will be taken into consideration. Though in the answer which is given here in the book, this is the explanation, rule 4. And it is also given that nothing is given as far as the level of transaction is concerned. We check two things, the level, commercial level, and quantity. So commercial level is not given, so we cannot do anything. So we assume that it is at the same commercial level. So this is the assumption that you have to write. It is assumed to be at the same commercial level. Then as far as quantity is concerned, it says the consignment of 20, 100 cannot be compared, even the others. Hence the 4 consignments are left out of consideration. Now here they have considered 2, that is 780 and 900, considering both to be close. And then if 2 identical goods come into picture, then you have to take that one which has the lowest unit price. So they have applied that rule here, the lowest of them, and therefore 160 is taken. Though you could have taken just one of them as 780, as I explained you, because 900 is far off and 780 is very close. So we can directly take 780 also, and the unit price of 160. But here it is given that if more than one transaction value of identical goods is found, then you take the lowest unit price. So that also can be written. Finally, the answer will depend upon your assumption. So we could have taken a different assumption also. Okay. So let's say 800 into 160 and then multiplied by 60. So you get 76,80,000. 10% ad valorem duty will come to 7,68,000, and SWS cess at the rate of 10% surcharge 10% 76,800. So total custom duty payable will be 8,44,800. Then question number 9. Question number 9 is again the best question that can be asked, of around 6 to 8 marks. Okay, the longest question. FOB value is given, freight air. So we'll add it, but restricting it to 20%. So restricting to 20% max. Then design and development charges paid in UK. Design and development charges are paid separately, and that too out of India. So this will be added to FOB. Okay. Then commission payable to local agent. Which commission? Does it say buying commission? No. So you have to assume it to be sales commission. Though it is paid to local agent, but it should be on behalf of the exporter. So this will also be added. Then bill of entry and date of arrival of the aircraft. So see these 2 points that I just explained in a previous question. Bill of entry. So exchange rate dollar into rupee will always be taken as on the date of bill of entry. So this is the exchange rate which is given, notified by CBSE 100. So this will be taken. But as far as the rate of duty is concerned, you will see the bill of entry or arrival of the aircraft, whichever is later. So bill of entry is later, so we'll take the date of bill of entry. So we'll apply BCD rate of 10%. So rate will be taken as 10% and exchange rate at 100 per UK pound. Then integrated tax 12%, and insurance charges have been paid actually, but details are not available. So if insurance actual is not known, then you have to assume it to be 1.125% of FOB. See, this is the longest question that can come, the largest question, and it is so simple. So what you do now is just write down FOB value plus designing and development charges. Then you get the total, convert it into rupees, then add the sales commission which is paid in India separately. Now because it was given that it is paid in rupees, therefore we have converted this into rupees first and then added this. Now you could have added this first, but converting it into UK pound. So it is 2% commission paid, so you could have directly taken 2% of 8,000 here as 160 UK pound, and then converting it into rupees, you will get the same figure. So whether you convert this into rupees and then add local commission, or you add local commission first and then convert to rupees, the answer will be same. Okay, 8,66,000. So these are the two additions to be made, basically design and development charges and sales commission. Once you add both of these, you get the FOB value. In this FOB value, we'll add freight and insurance. So freight will be restricted to 20% of this FOB. So 173,200. Actual is more. Actual is 2,500 UK pounds into 100, 250. So actual is 2,50,000. 20% of FOB is 173,200. So we'll restrict it here. Then insurance will take 1.125% of FOB. Then we'll add both to get CIF value. In CIF value, first we'll take the basic custom duty. Then we'll add the surcharge, that is 10% of customs duty. So this surcharge will be added, SWS, which is 10% of customs duty. Then you'll get the total. In this total, you will add the integrated tax. Integrated tax at the rate of 12%. So integrated tax is always added at the last. This we had seen earlier also. So add this. We had seen the rate of duty, na? Good. Simple question, 6 marks. Next question. Assessable value of an item imported is 1 lakh. Basic custom duty is 10%. Additional duty of customs leviable under section 37 यानी integrated tax is 12%. And education says, now you just make an amendment here, cut it off. Education says, right, SWS 10%. Compute the amount of total custom duty payable. Okay, so simple. Assessable value. Now such question do not come in the exam. This is a very simple question, don't expect it to come. Okay, then basic customs duty you add, then SWS 10% of the customs duty subtotal. On that you add the integrated tax at the rate of 12%. You get the total custom duty payable. Total custom duty means 10,000 plus 1,000 SWS plus additional duty, so total 24,320. Then next question 11. These are now the repetition questions. From the following particulars, calculate the assessable value on total custom duty payable. Again, date of presentation of bill of entry and arrival of aircraft. So when these are given, or if it is by ship, they will give you the entry in words. Okay, then you know what is to be done. Rate of exchange as notified by CBEC, means CBIC, is to be taken as on the date of bill of entry. So we'll take 62. And as far as the duty rate is concerned, whether to take 20 or 10, that depends upon whichever is later. So 26 and 36. So we'll take 36 because this is advance bill of entry. So we'll take as on the date of arrival of aircraft. So we'll take BCD rate of 10%. Then rate of integrated tax is 12%. So this will charge at the last. CIF value 2,000 US dollars, air freight 500, insurance 100. So again in this case CIF is given and the air freight is given. So what you'll do is first make a reverse calculation, find out FOB, then add back freight, restricting it to 20% of FOB. Right? So see, first we'll take CIF, we'll reduce the freight and insurance, total 600, so 1400 is the FOB. In that we'll add air freight, restricting it to 20% FOB. So 280 will be added back and 100 insurance as it is, actual basis 380 will be added back, so you will get 1780 US dollars. Then you multiply it by 62, so you will get the rupees. Then add basic custom duty. On basic custom duty you add SWS, so you get total. On total you add the integrated tax at the rate of 12%, and you will get the total duty payable, rounding off to 26,840. Then question number 12. Now this is again a similar question. 15,000 chalices were imported for charitable distribution in India by XY Charitable Trust. The trust did not pay either for the cost of the goods or for the design and development charges which was borne by the supplier. Means the goods are coming absolutely free of cost. Customs officer computed its FOB value at USD 20,000 including design and development charges which was accepted by the trust. Okay. So FOB value was determined by the AO and it is accepted by the trust. So very good. Other details obtained were as follows. Freight paid, that is air, in USD 4,500. Design and development charges paid in USA 2,500. But I think this 20,000 is already including. Okay. This 20,000 is already including design and development charges. So then we will not add it again. This is already included. So nothing to be done. But yes, freight will be added separately. Then commission payable to an agent in India. Commission payable to an agent in India is given 12,500. And I think this is in rupees. Okay. 12,500 is rupees because it is not mentioned USD. So it will mean rupees. Then exchange rate is given. Date of bill of entry is there and date of arrival of aircraft is there. So see whether it is advance bill or normal bill. Bill is filed on 8th of September. Arrival of the aircraft is 30th September. So this is advance bill. So we'll take the BCD rate as on the date of arrival of the aircraft. That is whichever is later. So we'll take 10%. But exchange rate will be as per the bill of entry. Then integrated tax at 12% is there. Compute the total value and tax payable. Very simple. So FOB value as determined by the customs officer. Exchange rate multiply, so you will get the FOB value. Then add commission that was paid separately as it is in rupees. Again see, we have converted this into rupees and then we are adding commission because this is given in rupees. Or else what you could have done, you convert this into dollars, add it here, get the total and then convert it into rupees. Ultimately you will get the same figure. 12,12,500. Okay. So this is FOB. Then add air freight, restricting it to 20%. So 240,500 and compare it with the actual also. What is the actual given air freight? Always compare. Actual air freight given is 4,500 USD. Now if I multiply 4,500 with 60, that comes to 2,70,000. So actual air freight in rupees is 2,70,000. But 20% of FOB is 242,500. Therefore we will add only 242,500. Okay. Then insurance 1.125%. So you get the CIF. In CIF then you add the basic custom duty, then SWS and ultimately integrated tax. So simple. Then there is a slight variation. Mr. Backpack imported second-hand goods from a UK supplier by air, which was contracted on CIF basis. Contract was on CIF. So there is no separate freight and insurance. However, there were changes in price in the international market between the date of the contract and the actual importation. Very good. As a result of several negotiations, the parties agreed for a negotiated price payable as follows. Contract price is given, changed price, and finally the negotiated price. So actual import takes place at what price? The negotiated price. Actual import is taking place at the negotiated price. The amount that the importer is going to pay to the exporter is the negotiated price. Okay, so this will be considered as the transaction value. not the contract price nor the change price. What will be considered as transaction value? The final negotiated price, because transaction value definition is amount actually paid or payable. Amount actually paid or payable. What is the amount actually paid or payable? The final negotiated price. So this is the transaction value to be taken. So that is the only variation in this question. All the other things remain the same. So once you take the CIF of 5,500, which is the negotiated price, you take this. Okay. Air freight and insurance is given separately, but that is of no use. We'll directly take CIF. And then another point is given, that vendor inspection charges. Vendor means the supplier himself is doing some kind of inspection. Inspection carried out by the foreign supplier on his own, not required under contract or for making the goods ready for shipment. So this is incurring on his own. This is his expense. We have nothing to do with it. It is not part of the contract. So are you going to add it? No. This is his expense. Importer is not paying it to the exporter. So why to add? Not to be added. If he incurs any expense there, what have we to do with it? Nothing. Then commission payable to local agent 1% of FOB in local currency. This is, yes, this is to be added, because this is paid on behalf of seller. We are paying the commission on behalf of seller. So therefore it is to be added. Then again, that difference in the date of bill of entry and arrival of aircraft. So 18th February is bill of entry, 15th February is arrival of the aircraft. So bill is filed later. So we'll take basic custom duty of 10% and exchange rate of 102. Find out the assessable value and custom duty payable. Very simple. So what you do, you take CIF as the negotiated price, right? 5,500 less air freight and insurance. So you get the FOB. Now we are reducing here the air freight and insurance to get FOB. Then we'll add first the that thing. Okay. Now you make one change here in this answer. Though it will not affect the final figures, but what you do is, this 4,448 commission payable to local agent, which is given below, this you will add to FOB first. Okay, this will add here. After reducing the air freight and insurance, you add this 4,488. Okay, so then you will get the revised FOB. And of course the vendor charges we are not going to add, but we are going to add this local agent's commission. So, and then 4,488 is in rupees. So let me do one thing. It is 1%, na? 1% of FOB. So wait. Or you do one thing, you make a separate calculation in your book or on this side which we have. We'll take this 4,400. Then we'll not add any inspection charges because that is his expense. We have nothing. It is not a contracted expense. So this is nil. But we'll add this 1% commission. We'll add 1% commission. The 4,400 into 1% gives me 44. So CIF comes to 4,444. Okay, 4,444. Then we'll add freight. So freight will be restricted to 20%. So 4,444 into 20% gives me 888. But actual freight is only 500. So we'll take only 500. Okay. Actual freight is 500, air freight, and 20% of 4444 is 888, which is higher. So we'll take actual, which is less. And insurance will be 600. So you get CIF of, sorry, I have written CIF above. After adding this commission, actually this is FOB, revised FOB. Then insurance and freight we add, so we get CIF. So 4444 plus 500 plus 600 is 5544. Then apply the exchange rate of 102. So you will get the rupees 5544 into 102 will give us 565,488. Now here the answer has come to same 565,488, but this is coincidence that the answer is same, but practically you have to add this above, okay, not below. You don't add this commission to CIF, you add this commission to FOB, and then you get revised FOB. In that you add the freight and insurance. Now there is no mistake in this answer because that 20% was much higher and we added back the actual freight. So therefore the answer is coming to be same. So this is coincidence that is same. Okay, good. Then it's the same old thing. Add the basic custom duty, then SWS 10% of basic custom duty, and integrated tax is not given, so we will not add it. Simple. Integrated tax is to be added only when given in the problem, okay. SWS is always to be added, and for that also, if nothing is given, then SWS will be taken at 10%. But if a different rate is given, then you apply that rate. Like we had seen when studying SWS, that in a lot of goods the rate has been brought to 3%. Okay, so if it is given in the question that SWS is at 3% on these goods, then you apply 3% rate. If nothing is given, you apply 10% rate. Then question 14. F Limited imported a machine from UK in May 2000 and so on so. The details in this regard are as under. FOB value of the machine 10,000, air freight 3,000 UK pound, so this will be added but restricting it to 20%. But further some expenses are given which are to be added first. License fee, the buyer was required to pay 400 UK pound license fee, so this will be added. Buying commission not to be added, buying commission is not added, so only that 400 will be added first to FOB, so total will become 10,400. Then we'll take freight at 20% of 10,400. Then bill of entry is filed on 20th May. Arrival of the aircraft is 25th May, which is later 25th May. So rate of duty will be taken on 25th May, which is 10%. But exchange rate notified by CBIC will be as on the date of bill of entry, that is 99 per UK pound. Same old story. Then 37 is given here, 12%, so we'll add it. Insurance premium details not available, so we'll assume it to be 1.125% of FOB. So simple. So simple, so simple. So take FOB, add 400, you get revised FOB. Okay, then you calculate in rupees, then add air freight, restricting it to be 20%, and insurance at 1.125%. You add both, you get the total assessable value, means the CIF. In CIF you add the basic custom duty, then SWS, get the total, and on that total you take 12% integrated tax. Then question number 15 is there. Messrs IES Limited SSE imported certain goods at USD 20 per unit from an exporter who was holding 30% equity in the share capital of importer company. The exporter is holding 30% equity of the importer company. Does this make them related parties? No. As per the definition of related party, it should have controlling interest. And to have controlling interest, it must hold more than 50% equity. This is only 30% equity. So there is no relationship. Okay. So the question is, subsequently the assessee entered into an agreement with the same exporter to import the said goods in bulk at 14 per unit. So earlier it imported at 20 per unit, some consignment. Then later on they imported at 14 per unit in bulk. When imports at reduced price were affected pursuant to this agreement, that is at 14 per unit, the department rejected the transaction value, stating that the price was influenced by the relationship, and completed the assessment on the basis of transaction value of identical goods, that is earlier imports. So earlier imports was considered as identical goods, and this rate was imposed here at 20 per USD under rule 4. Rule 4 means identical goods. Okay. State briefly whether the department's action is sustainable in law with reference to decided cases. So it is a simple case of relationship, that whether 30% holding will be considered as a related party. So answer is no. As per the definition of related person, you have to have controlling interest. Controlling interest requires more than 50% holding and not 30%. So they are not related. If they are not related, the transaction value cannot be rejected. So this 14 rupees per unit transaction value cannot be rejected by the department. So this is what you have to write, and that answer is given here. It's a theory answer, so you can read. And the whole discussion is on the word control only, as I told you. So for control, you must hold more than 50%, means at least 51%. But in this case, it is only 30%. So therefore, they are not related. The two parties cannot be said to be related. So in the light of the foregoing discussion, it could be inferred the department's action is not sustainable in law. Then question number 16 is again a theory question. It's a reason based question. Validity of the following statements with reference to Customs Act, giving brief reasons. So 2 marks for each part. So total 4 parts, means it is an 8 marks question. Service charges paid to canalizing agents are not includable in the civil. Now you can just read it, all simple points with the decided case laws. Just go through it once. And then question number 17 is also on similar lines. This also you can do. This is a slightly different. Machinery and accessories, 2 things are imported. So no problem, we'll assess them separately. As the value is shown separately, you can assess them separately, because they may be chargeable at different rates of duty. So it's also very simple. See, accessories and machineries both are computed separately. That is also very simple, nothing complicated in there. And then at the last, a few theory questions are again given, which you can go through. Pilfered goods, lost goods, and difference between pilfered and lost goods. That is difference basically between section 13 and section 23. Very simple points. Just go through it once. So these are the different variety of questions that come on valuation basically. But still, go through the practice manual also of IDT issued by ICAI. Okay, and these days they don't issue practice manual separately. They have said that we have included all the questions in the module itself. So basically it means the module. So though you don't refer to the modules for theory reading, but at least solve all the questions, valuation questions given there. So that is a must. And also do the RTPs of at least 4 past attempts. But with caution, huh? Because a lot of laws have changed over the years. So what you do is that don't do the RTPs because there will be a lot of changes. First of all, that education cess has changed to SWS this year. Then there was a handling charge to be added earlier. Handling charge of 1% was added, which is not added nowadays. So there are a lot of intricate changes that have undertaken over the period of time. So if you read the old RTPs and if the solutions are given as per the old laws prevailing at that time, then you will get confused. So don't do it. These questions are enough, plus the practice manual or the institute's book is enough for you. Okay, great.